Come and unfroze this thing so that we know when.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kende Bodrin.
And I am Henry Igubike.
All right, it's the start of a new month and we are so glad to have you on the show. We will kick off with today's newspaper review before diving into the main conversation of the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss a moment with us. You can, join the conversation by dropping your comments, liking and following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. So joining us to share the matters at hand is Barrister Evans Ufeli. He is also a public affairs analyst. We also have Innocent Aduluba, who is also a public affairs analyst and also a journalist. You're both welcome.
Good morning to you, gentlemen, and thank you for giving us your time.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
By the way.
Happy New December.
It's nice being alive and of course see the end of the year 2025.
Yes. And I know next year is going to be greater than this year.
Obviously. So let's kickstart today, this morning, with the first daily on our desk, coming from the Vanguard newspaper.
Yep.
Big story: insecurity. Bandits unleash terror in Kogi, Kano, Sokoto, and Kwara. We have a right out to that story.
Okay.
A Niger kidnapping. Church confirms 4 children of catechist among victims.
Wow! Imagine the same family.
Same family.
Wow.
4 children.
Okay, still on the top strip, we have presidency to Obasanjo. Terrorism took root under your watch.
And also we have still from the top strip of the same newspaper, FDI loses ground despite surge in inflows.
We also have new tax regime may trigger capital flights. This is coming from XNACCIMA chair.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have delayed trials, undermine rule of law, Governor Yusuf.
We also have Abacha loot. EFCC seize Malami's passports.
Okay, so let's get to our talking point for today. Ambassadorial designate. Mixed reaction trail. Ekpazu, Ogwani, Reno Omokri, Femi Fanikayode, and many more. So let's get talking on this because it's the key of the moment right now on various platforms in Nigeria and equally some places in the diaspora. I'd love to start with you, Barrister. What's your take on this, especially going by the antecedents of those who are representing us? Is it that the president and the presidency are confusing? What do we call this now? They are confusing.
Competing or confusing?
Yes, for competence here. What do you think is the issue, especially with this list?
Well, this is a combination of 2 stretch. One side carry ambassadors, the other are not carry ambassadors. A career ambassador is trained diplomat in foreign affairs. Okay. Why a non-career diplomat is they are usually loyalists, donors, and people generally that supports the government. Now, if you look at the president's authority to make such appointment under the Constitution, it is one that empowers the president solely to make this appointment. Okay? An appointment, in a way, shows the quality of the kind of president you have. When a president makes an appointment under the situation, under reference, it reflects the quality of thought, the quality of preparedness, and the quality of the president's commitment to the country. Now, if you look at this, that list is not it's not one that inspires any kind of confidence. Largely because you have people like Ekpazu, people like Reno Mokri, people who have been at the center and the vanguard of failure, loquaciousness, and sometimes unpatriotic characters populate that list. There are some persons who stands out there on the list, who have shown commitment, especially the career ones, those who have been former ambassadors, those that are sober and transient. They have the capacity and courage to be what they are before now, what they can still be in the list under reference. But the list generally does not inspire confidence. It does not inspire confidence because it's bereft of what one would have expected from a president. Okay? But it's all in representative capacity. Yeah. At least the inclusiveness will be there. At least the inclusiveness will be there, and then it will not be that those seats are left vacant. But it's surprising that it's coming at the third year of the president's administration, of this government's administration, and it falls short of everything decent. Okay? And that is why we have always clamored for progress, properly, and then promoting general well-being of the country. We always clamored for, but that we don't serve.
Innocent. So, do these nominees meet constitutional requirements? Can we say they meet, the constitutional requirements?
Innocent, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you get my question?
Yes, I can hear you. I want you to confirm if you can hear me.
We can hear you very well. Did you get the question?
So should I take it
again? Yes, I did.
All right, please.
Okay. Well, I think Barrister Opeli, a seasoned barrister at law, had given that answer. The president is a repository of discretion, of veto, of fiat. Some of them you cannot quantify constitutionally, But all of the law, the president has not done anything extra constitutional. What he has done is within the ambit of the law. Where we are is what you call OOZE. Ooze. You know what we mean by ooze? Nigeria at the moment, what do we ooze out to the global community? Is it a pleasant aroma or an offensive odor, politically speaking? And so these names mentioned, are they the kind of names that are they air fresheners? Henry, let me use that simple word. Can they dilute tensions? If you talk to Barrister when you get back to him, you ask him, what are the feelers people are getting out there about Nigeria, Henry? And the stage we are in, these people are people who are our direct interactors with international, wherever they will work. Take it from me, every embassy, anywhere is a sovereign piece of that country. Did you get what I said? If there is an embassy of Ethiopia here, that building in Abuja is Ethiopia's sovereign territory, even though it's in Abuja. And so you have any issue with Ethiopia, down to even the comments of boarding Ethiopia Airline, you will go to that embassy first before reaching the president of Ethiopia.
Are you still there, Innocent?
That's the point. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but it's a bit faint.
Okay, so am I louder now?
Okay. It's different.
Am
I louder now?
Let's try to get that connection because we can hardly hear you right here. But let me just use the opportunity. Of course, when we get you, you might continue from where you stopped. But let me just get to you, Barrister, at this point. The latest information we have from the National Assembly as we speak right about now is that the name Reno Omokri is about to be thrown out. Not yet been thrown out, but it's about to be thrown out because of the past comments of Reno Omokri, especially with regards to labeling the current president as a drug lord. There's a tweet account which he says the more relevant question to ask is, what is the source of Bola #Asiwaju Tinubu's wealth? Maybe by answering that question, many Lagosians would understand the source of their own poverty. Another tweet he said, yet they stand by as a Yahoo boy runs to the presidents of Nigeria. What hypocrisy. Tinubu is a known drug lord. Now, all of those things he said without knowing it is coming back to bite him. The truth is, do you really think that the president, what I wanted to say at the beginning was, do you think the president confuses loyalty for patriotism and do not care about the consequences at this point?
He doesn't care really whether you are patriotic or not. What he cares about is whether you are loyal to him or not, or whether you can be instrumental to his second coming. That's what he cares about. Reno Omokri is not a character of competence that should be found near any list called Ambassadorial or any list whatsoever. Reno Omokri is not the kind of influence that you need if you have a far-reaching interest, you have patriotism at heart, and you have the vintage of love. Okay, he should not be found around any such list for national assignment because he's not one that promotes the country called Nigeria. Okay, so he has done so much damage to a country and anything on that list. So I mean, to say that he's now one of the champions of the list, it's also the least most unfortunate, and that tells you the kind of president you have in the first place. Reno Omokri was hailing people too long ago. Before you know, his man became his one enemy. The same thing he did with the president. He condemned the president, someone, even a guy, the president, which is the way out. Now, he's not the best man of the president. Such toxicity, which is trust. Okay? People should be men and women of their words. And if you are not, you'll not be found around that. I don't want to make this whole analysis about Reno Omokri. But he stands out as one who is deafening and who is incompetent in all ramifications to hold any office of that nature. Much to an office that have international corporation that will represent representative capacity. I mean, the African journalist that he with recently will be very surprised to find his name as an ambassadorial nominee, someone who have trivialized the ongoing genocide that's ravaging the country and the rest of that. I mean, a lot of people will be surprised to really find his name there. So politics is just about loyalty and nothing about patriotism. What happens to the country itself when countrymen are not upright and they get juicy appointments? What then is left of the country?
Very sad reality.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think we should just be, deliberating more on that. So we're going to move on another story. So we're looking at this presidency to Obasanjo. Terrorism took roots under your watch, right? Yeah. So I don't, Barrister.
Innocent. I don't think are you still there, Innocent? Okay, I think Innocent is yet to get back. So let's get back to Barrister.
Okay, so I just want to ask this: does blaming a past president have legal implications? Because I feel, it's Obasanjo. He once ruled Nigeria. So do you think blaming him as a past president have legal implications for national security accountability?
It does. Because when the president is elected. Is elected to do principal management for party to ensure the social welfare of the people. It's one of the okay. So where security start uncontrollably is a big no. But let me say on this issue, I do not think of blame because it was Obasanjo's second tenure, the end of the second tenure that Boko Haram was formed. Okay, but then the issues that followed the leader that you can't really see the agency route during his. That's a lie. That's a very big lie. It started at that point, and the would have put up the circle, the non-military. Okay, so throwing that at Ambassador just Ambassador criticized this movement is a good tact. And I know who's doing that. I know it's the likes of the president handlers who will never take responsibility. They always want to, use that office in a negative way to show that they can quarrel, they can throw jabs, and they can do all incivility. Nobody, we are blaming Obasanjo. You only blame Obasanjo for attempt and its to manage the economy under the boom that we had then. You can blame him for that. But to say insurgency took through that him is not true. It's not true. This statement is thrown out there to confuse young people who were not born at the time. And I think it is mischievous. It should be withdrawn. It should be taken back because it's not true. It's completely false. I'm not a fan of Obasanjo, but I know exactly what happened to Stenning, what he did and did not do, what he was able to achieve to not and so that all witnesses to it. Many Nigerian witnesses to that. So you can't come and throw this kind of thing here. You can only tell that to young people who were not born at the time. But to us who understand the full gamut of Obasanjo's administration, you can't tell us that. So I think that is false.
Is back. Innocent, thank you so very much for being back. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Very well.
All right, beautiful. So let's get to the issue of presidency to Obasanjo. Terrorism took root under your watch. What's your take on this? Give us historical backgrounds, if you may. Then from there, if it's possible, you might crisscross to yet another question. Abacha's loot. EFCC seizes Malami's passport. Is the chicken coming home to roost against the Malami at this point, knowing what he pled during Muhammad Buhari's reign in power?
Well, I would like to spare Nigerians the space for history as regards the tenure of President Olusegun Obasanjo. All I can say is Nigerians, including you and me, Henry, will give a lot to enjoy the kind of socio-economic climate President Obasanjo's term gave us, if that will come back now. A lot of Nigerians will walk on their heads to enjoy that kind of government again. I would say post-military since 1999, President Obasanjo is also a president whose administration gave Nigeria global respect. A lot. It was a proud time to be called a Nigerian. And I mean, those outside traveling now were better. In Obasanjo's time, nobody was consciously borrowing money to flee Nigeria. Nigeria is among or one of the countries with the largest population outside its municipal territory as we speak. So, and even if things were bad during the Obasanjo days, successive governments campaign and win election on the back of manifestos where they promise to be better than previous government. So it's a porous propaganda to point finger at, let me use the word, a grand regime after you. The way we have grandfather, great grandfather. How do we link that to this administration? and then link the blame. It's not in sync, Henry. This government, you just get serious. Just get serious and do what governments do. Secure your country, provide enablement everywhere, and let the country run like a normal human enclave. As regards the Abacha Malami, I don't know. Sometimes nowadays, whatever is termed good news, Nigerians are too bashed, too choked, too pressured to celebrate even good news nowadays, Henry. That's a good news. But again, I would, like Major Al Mustafa would tell you, whatever happened in the Abacha days, they were just taking orders. They were just taking orders. It will shock you all the loot our spiritual ancestor Sani Abacha has been sending back to Nigeria. If you ask for an impact report versus total amount received, you wouldn't even know if you should celebrate this kind of news either. I'm telling you, I'll just leave it at that, Henry.
Very so sad, but that's the reality. But let's finally move to the Punch newspaper for a bit, just to see what we have there. And straight to our talking points, we have bandits kidnapped 490 in 2 weeks, a rampage. And equally, yet another one similar to the same story, insecurity. State assemblies move to debate state policing. A barrister, I'd love you to take a go on this particular one. A testimonial we saw yesterday, 18-seater bus was raided and passengers were taken away by bandits. Unfortunately, one of the passengers escaped, only to tell the story that the Kaba community, a particular village in that community, were complicit. Almost everyone in that community were part of the kidnapping gang. You know, he escaped and got to a particular family, only for the family to call the kidnappers to come and pick him up. But of course, because he understood the language, he was able to escape. So, barrister, tell me, a country where communities are becoming complicit to banditry, to insurgency, to kidnapping, what do you make of that society and a country like that called Nigeria?
Such communities are crime scene. The bandits have so soared high to the point where they now settle community members who will help them in things. Okay, when bandits start to work with communities, you know, we have reached the peak of this focus, because what's of a betrayal, and then it speaks of a whole lot of evil. You know, I saw the account when he gave the account of how he escaped and the rest of it. I said that one aware that around the family and all the insurgents. I don't know whether that is the case or how the case was reported. Like journalists have reported it. But if that is the case, it is one that boggles the mind, because before now, the captors are our collective enemy. The captors are our collective enemies. And we sympathize with the captives. And naturally, we'll do everything to ensure that the captives regain strength. But where society, who is the victim, has now colluded or is now colluded with the captors to, by all means, get the captives in the ones that escape. And it means that we have gotten to a point of no return. And this is troubling. This happened along the Lokoja-Kogi axis of the country, I guess, which is the report. And to say that you now have, because the truth is, apart from the bandits that are on the highway, you know, 9 people, the police only endorses every community house. Okay, so there are, you know, strange offenders in those communities. Those ones don't mind to join forces with the frontline bandits and elicit or give intelligence in return for financial or pecuniary gain. Okay, so what go down to this thing working about? that the time for Nigeria to adopt fully with objection, state policing, and empower them accordingly. Because the state police, they are the ones who are supposed to fish out these local criminals. Okay? Bandits have operate in their own communities. These bandits, they hardly operate in their communities. They go far away where they are known, okay, to operate. And because there's always a criminal network in every community, they most likely will find local criminals who are also the latent ones overseeing the affairs of criminal in that area. By the time they fall with them, what you have is society is stranded. Okay? So let's debate this properly. At the State House of Assembly, they're debating it now. They should go ahead. If Federal House, that bill is, I think that bill got to third reading. It went to committee stage. I don't know where it's right now. I don't know where it is right now, but I think they should give it legislative time. They should give it legislative time and make sure that before the year runs out, for the remaining days they will sit in the year. I think we're going on Christmas break around 5th of thereout. They should pass this law once and for all. We also have regional police before, which is a of the state police. Hey, in 1963, we had regional police. We had it, and they were effective. Okay, we had regional police too. In countries that have such population and such kind of size, you must have enough security to lead the entire country.
All right.
Especially now that you have shortfall in the number of police in the country and the soldiers, and the federal government is calling for recruitment. This is the time to create that state police. Let the recruitment come from the state directly, and then let's see how it goes.
All right,
even as a matter of fact, the House of Assembly and the IGP, they are actually, in a meeting discussing about deploying state police in, in fact, in everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. So, okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just love us to conclude with Innocent before we call it a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Innocent, I'd love you to speak to this issue. According to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oloyede, he said, I love to quote him, "This nation is only as strong as the initiative we show, the courage we carry, the understanding we build, and the loyalty we give." Should we take this as mere rhetoric, or coming from someone who truly understands the rule of engagement, understand what his people needs and what he needs to do to ensure that this goes through? Or is it just speaking just to make us feel happy and excited? What's your take, Innocent?
Yes, Harry, I will pull you back a little.
Please do.
What summary of what the defense man said?
Sorry? There was a summary of what he said.
What did he say?
Yeah, so he said, and I love to quote again, he said, "This nation is only as strong as the initiative we show, the courage we carry, the understanding we build, and the loyalty we give." So do we see this as ChatGPT written speech, or is it coming straight from his heart because he understands the rule of engagement and understand what needs to be done and not empathizing and dialoguing and negotiating with the enemies of Nigeria?
Henry, in the world, there's something they call insane climbs. Do you understand? In insane climbs, that kind of comment, the man will lose his job. He is not paid as a military man to give speeches in times of distress like this. Having made that comment, we are still where we are, or practically worse off if you add the recent distasteful incident at Kaba. Kaba is not even as far up as Lokoja. Kaba is still almost 2 hours to Lokoja or so. Kaba is just on the fringes of Ondo State if you live or work, So, and a military man is to be in charge of strategy and tactics to disarm, to foil, or to secure a territory. In this case, if it's not external, it's even a good thing. Within Nigeria, the terrain should be known to that chief of defense. So we are not here for speech making. If you take that speech to that man, you said the catechist, whose 4 of his children were taken, what solace is that to that man, Henry? You know. So, and there is division of labor. That man is a public servant entrusted with responsibility. The loyalty you and I give to Nigeria, the confidence we carry, is not in any direct line with the dispensing of his defense duties. So these people should stop sugarcoating things. We are not in the season of euphemism. We are in the season of calling a spade a spade. As we speak, I've been telling you in the studio, Henry, the bandits are terrestrial. They're on the ground. Though the army have drones for aerial surveillance, so we know where they are and where they are headed. Those are the things we want to know. That kind of speech would be beautiful in Athens, in Greece, where the parliamentarians have the gab for speeches. This man is a soldier. He is supposed to be a Spartan man. They should be in the field there telling us who they have captured. There are villages down to Enugu State, Eha Amufu, that bandits have chased the villagers and are occupying. The defense chief should be telling us villages they've reclaimed and restored the original settlers back there. Henry, you know worldwide how they say talk is cheap. The military shouldn't be known with talk and speeches. Militaries are credited for actions, victories achieved. And once upon a time, Nigerian military had a glorious chapter. Our names were luminous in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, even with that Abacha's junta. Tejan Kaba was restored in the Gambia. You know, the Congo, Myanmar, Burma, Nigerian soldiers pre-colonially were involved in the interwar years, 1918, 1939 to 45, and they were part of the resources, artillery, that brought down the Axis led by Germany, Italy, and some parts of dissident Europe at the time. So, I mean, the children should be better than their father. If the army of those days were good, and their children worse or better, that's where we are. So let's not take the comments of the defense chief to heart. I'm sorry to say. Let's look for their results. What can they do as combatants? Because you and I, if we pick up arms to go out there, we'll be arrested. They are charged with that duties. Let them disperse it. I am not enamored by his comments, Henry.
Very well said. It can never be better said. Like you've actually put that there. A very wonderful expose. And I love to say that we wish Nigeria well and hope that we will get out of this phase very, very soon. But of course, both gentlemen, Barrister Evans Ofedi and Innocent, will be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we return. Peter Gregory Obi exposes Ecowas double standards over Guinea-Bissau coup. That in a bit still